we'll have this discussion.
Discussion? What discussion?
This is a discussion.
Combustion.
Coming to you from Denver, Colorado, this is Discussion Combustion Podcast with your hosts, Kevin Batstone and Arthur Raw.
Because we're all guilty of it. It affects everybody differently, as far as how you're going to handle it, how you're going to compartmentalize it. Like I try to, I've said on here a few times, like when it comes to like having a meal with your friends or even doing something like this or just consciously making time to be aware where, don't even worry about it. Like you said, you just turned it off, threw it over there. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think we all need to do that at times.
You disconnect completely. That's why I like going out to the mountains.
When you don't have cell service, because then you don't have a choice. Yeah, and you got people freaking out. They're like, I got to drive into town and check my messages.
Yeah, get out of here. Just sit there and enjoy the dirt.
That's why I'm here. Yeah, why I actually came here so no one could reach me. That's why I'm here.
Any way we can get you here, glad you're here.
Yeah, honestly, I'm really happy to have you in. I mean, how we know Matt is through Traffics, which is my logistics job, day job, and we've had some great conversations, man. Yeah. And I think you're a really nice person that has a lot of value to add, and I'm just excited to have you in here because I know you're a great talker too.
Excited to be here. I've been told that a couple times. One person that we work with once said I can talk to a wall, which I don't really want to.
You
practice,
probably
but,
do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having the gift of gab.
Yeah.
Solid lad. That's a solid lad move right there. And hey, came to the right place to have a little discussion.
Yeah, let's go.
Well, who knows? We got some bourbon.
Yeah, no, it's good. What kind of bourbon was this again?
So this is Cathead Distillery, Old Soul Bourbon, out of Mississippi. Shout out Ross. We've been working with him a little bit this week and had the opportunity to flood the market a little bit, and now we get to enjoy a little bit on the air. So
yeah,
pretty excited about that.
Yeah, it is good. It is good. So it's all the bourbon drinkers out there. I mean, I enjoy my bourbon, but I also enjoy having bourbon just with an ice cube. I don't want it overly watered down. What is your stance? Like, do you feel like if you're drinking it straight, then it should be straight, or what does it depend on? I like
an ice cube. I like the larger square ice cubes.
Oh, the perfect square.
Yeah, because then it melts a little bit slower. You don't get as much water in there with that, and like that one that we just had just instantly.
It was gone.
It was gone within seconds.
Give it a good temperature though. I feel like when I first started drinking whiskey in my early 20s, I didn't know what the hell I was doing, and I would just throw the bottle in the freezer. Yeah, because that's what everybody would do. Especially with like the liqueurs and the flavored whiskeys. But now
some Jack Daniels, throw that thing.
Throw it in the freezer. You pull it out, it's all frosty. You're scraping the ice off and shit.
Delicious though. I mean, sounds like but that's when you're shooting. Is like back in the day, like so you're taking shots.
Shooting? Oh, okay, shooting, like taking shots. I was thinking, like, do you guys call it pulls, or what do you guys call it?
Pulls.
I mean, a pull. I feel like is if you're passing a bottle around. Yeah. Because then you're taking a pull or a rip.
Yeah. Let me get a pull off that. Yeah.
Rip it.
I've heard people call it different things. I was just
okay. Curious, Yeah. Okay. How many things can we come up with? So we got shooting it. We got ripping it,
chugging,
slamming it,
chugging. Yeah. Let me take a swig.
Yeah, swig's a big one.
Yeah.
How about a drink?
Yeah. Let me have a drink of that.
Yep. I don't know. There's got to be some others.
I'm gonna put the bottom up.
Put the bottom up. Bottoms up.
There's probably a lot of ways to say it.
Yeah.
I'd like to go back and be a fly on the wall in the old pub days, like the 1800s, when those guys would come in with the swinging saloon doors. Give me a whiskey, you got the 6 shooters on the side, I feel like that'd be a fun time. That's why I really like playing Red Dead Redemption. It makes me feel like I'm alive.
It's a great game.
Riding my horse into the saloon, I like that shit.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful game too.
It's so fun.
Yeah. I mean, both of them were really good.
First one was good. I think I enjoyed the second a little bit more just because of how good it looked and like being outdoors and the hunting aspect.
Mm-hmm. You just get randomly attacked by like a fucking like mountain lion or something like that.
Yeah, you're just riding, trying to get to your next destination. All of a sudden, you're getting knocked off the horse and you got rattlesnakes biting your pecker. Yeah. You got to be on your game.
Well, for those who don't know about the Red Dead Redemption 2, this game is amazing. Like, I feel like it's critically acclaimed. The story is super in-depth. You have multiple endings based on your decisions. And also it's so detailed that like the horses, their testicles will either be shriveled if you're in a cold environment, or they will be loose hanging.
Really?
If
didn't
you're
know
in a
that.
warm environment.
I played
Yeah,
a lot
it
of
was all
Red
over
Dead.
Reddit right before
Yeah.
it came out. Yeah, it was like a feature basically. That they were,
I didn't pay attention to the horse nets
Yeah.
well enough, I guess. But now I'm gonna have to play it and take them up to the mountains. Go hunt some moose.
I mean, I think that was what they were trying to do, though, is they're doing so many minute details, like even like the sunlight, coming through the ears makes the earlobe red. It like has that
Amazing detail.
They did so many things, and it's a shame. Okay, like I can go down a road of like complaining about modern games and like how they try to like do microtransactions and how they release incomplete, and like I can really go off on all that, but Red Dead was one of those rare gems that when it came out, it was a complete game and it was a complete masterpiece. Like just walking around that game, like feeling the vibes of it. Like if you're not a gamer, then you should watch somebody playing it because it's like a really beautiful game.
Oh yeah.
You got to experience it for yourself, though. I feel like it's just one of those games. Like Grand Theft Auto's not for everyone. Like I talk to a lot of people that say free roam games are not their thing.
The storyline in that game was unreal, though. I was actually gonna go there as well. Like it's the same concept, obviously, same people that make it, Rockstar with Red Dead, but the storyline for Grand Theft Auto actually got me even more excited for Red Dead when it came out, and now we're probably just never gonna get another Grand Theft Auto again because they just keep
The
to
online,
your point, just
They
keep
just
cashing
building
in.
it online.
Why
Why wouldn't they? I mean, they're making money hand over fist with that, with
Yep.
the DLCs and all these different things that they're adding in. I haven't really been playing too much of it though.
A lot of games are going that way too. I mean, you look at like Halo just released not just released, but they released a game that's free to play, but then you have a lot of microtransactions within.
Which
that.
one? Which one was that?
Infinite. That was there.
That's free to play.
Yeah, it's free to play. Multiplayer is free to play.
Oh,
Yeah,
multiplayer is free to play. See, they're also tricky.
Yeah,
And
Call of
look,
Duty,
like,
same
look,
thing.
I won't name the company, but like basically it was a streaming service, and I signed up for the streaming service to watch sports, so that will narrow down who it was.
Yep.
I think you should call them out.
Well, okay, yeah, we can call them out. Yeah, this was ESPN Plus, so
Yeah.
AKA Disney.
Yeah.
All right. And so I was trying to watch a Bronco game. I did all the stuff. I got the subscription. I couldn't watch it. And so I deleted my account,
Yeah.
right? And it was only $7 a month or something, which is not too much. But I noticed on my last paycheck, I'm like looking at my account and I'm like, wait, there's an auto debit. And this was just, earlier this week I noticed this. And so I called them. I'm like, hey, I have the proof that I deleted the account and that it's no longer active and this and that, and I'm still getting charged. And they're like, oh, so like you can delete your account, but you have to cancel the payments.
What?
Yeah.
That's some bass
Yes.
backwards shit.
Yeah.
So they were like trying to do me, and they were doing me like that
For months.
for months, and it was only 60-something bucks, but they refunded it. They
That's
refunded
good
it.
though. That's good.
So good job, Disney, ESPN Plus. You guys still did the refund, but y'all are pulling some tricky shit in the first place.
Well, I feel like they're hoping, they're kind of running that whole thing like people are just going to either forget about it like you kind of did until it became, in front of you again, checking your bank account. But then they also kind of hope like, well, it's more of a pain in the ass than it's worth.
Yeah, it's
right.
gonna eat it.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
That's where they really wrote people in with these 3 to 6 to 12-month free trials, because then you have the auto renew. I've been a victim of that. I forget about the shit. Like with Verizon, I had like Discovery Plus for a year free. All of a sudden now I'm getting billed for it because I forgot about it.
Yeah.
Didn't even use it to begin with. So I feel like a lot of those subscription services can really bite you in the ass.
I've gotten so used to that now, though, because I just like using those free 30-day trials that as soon as I sign up for it, I set a calendar reminder like a few days before I need to. And I decide if it's worth, keeping them or not at that point, if they make the list, because I've got a pretty extensive list at this
That's actually
point.
the way to do it. That's a solid piece of advice.
Look, all right, I learned this from our job. We might talk lightly about logistics and
Yeah.
supply chain today, but like, look, setting calendar reminders changed my life.
I have to have them now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like it's so crucial. And you know what? It takes 30 seconds to set a calendar reminder to make sure you remember something important.
You know what I was doing is I was setting alarms. Like if I was like, okay, I have to remember to do something before the end of the day, or whenever you can like future an alarm.
Yeah.
The thing would go off and I'd be like, fuck, I know I got to do something, but what was it?
Yeah.
So that's where the calendar invites kind of changed the game a little bit.
I've done that a few times as well. I know exactly what you mean. I even started naming my alarms when I started doing that too, because you can be like mechanic. I have to go to the mechanic,
Okay.
or whatever, you know. And I actually have that alarm on my phone right now, which is why I thought about that. But
Oh yeah, see, okay, so I'm not the only one that's used that technique before. But that was, this is before I could name the alarm. So this thing's going off at 4:55. I'm like, well, I got to do something before 5 here, obviously.
What the fuck
was
am I
it?
about to do?
Yeah,
just anxiety attacks, sitting there trying to think of what it was.
right.
What was it that you had to do, Kevin?
It was probably something like either follow up with an individual or get an order in before the cutoff.
Pay rent,
pay rent.
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, make a payment.
I
before
forget
the
to do
5
that all the
cutoff.
time.
Yeah. No, for sure. The reminders are a good thing, I feel like, especially when you're as busy as we are.
Yeah.
You have to pencil this shit in. Google does a good job of reminding me. They give me the reminders on there 2 to 4 days in advance sometimes.
so
Whether
like-
you want them or not, they will fucking remind you. That is for sure.
So I've come up with, and you saw this because you're a guest on DCPC, but like after scheduling people for so many months and like trying to do it and do it right and this and that, like I came to realize that people will respond best with a 24-hour reminder, and then that also, because sometimes we get cancellations, that also like gives them time to let us know like at least 24 hours in advance that you're not going to make it, so we're not scrambling like 3 hours before we go on air or something.
Yeah. What do you guys do when that happens? I'm just curious. Do you guys?
Well, we had it happen last week, actually.
I was wondering because I saw that you guys did like a solo show. I didn't know if that's typically what you do, or if you scramble and try to find someone.
We have.
quickly, or...
It really just depends on the circumstances, like the time of we find out about it. Because if we have more time, we can make something happen. Like we could, if we knew last Monday, we could have called you up and been like, "Hey, man, can you move up a week or something like that?"
Yeah.
So there's always a way we can kind of manipulate it and find a way to make it work. But in that particular instance, we just ran a solo.
Yeah.
Because it had been 6 months, right? It was time for Art Night of
It was past due.
Yeah, we were due for some venting.
I had some shit I wanted to talk about as well.
Sounds like it.
A lot of feedback we got, a lot of profanity on there, but you know what? That's just speaking from the heart. This is an 18 and older show. If you can't handle the profanity, then go ahead and exit the video now.
then fuck off.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
I don't know about that, but just
I was joking. Okay, you could clip that and
people should
soundbite
know by
it.
now.
Yeah.
People should know by now.
See, this isn't
what you
my
get.
show, so I can say that they can fuck off.
I don't know. You kind of inspired me when I was like, yeah.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I do, Arthur. I inspire. That's my role.
Hey, and that's look. If you have that and you have recognized that, because I kind of feel the same way. All seriousness, like I feel like part of my mission on this planet is to help motivate, and if that's part of your mission too, man, then we are righteous soldiers fighting a bona fide battle.
Let's go. Yeah.
Squad it up.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of carrying that same torch a little bit, and the desires of what we're trying to do, and just pursuing what makes us happy, right? If you feel like motivating people, because I've always wanted to be in entertainment my whole life.
Yeah.
Tried music, goofed off a bit here and there. Like I just always felt like I need to be in front of a camera. I just always knew that my whole life. I didn't know what that looked like though.
Yeah.
And then when we discovered podcasting, it just kind of made sense. Everything clicked. That wait, I can drink beer, I can goof off, I can say real shit that I'm feeling. That somehow helps people.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
Yeah. Very casual format, which is very appealing for people to come on and just bullshit. So.
I think we need more bullshit. I really do. We say it a lot. That
Genuine bullshit.
genuine bullshit.
Like forget your personalities or whatever you think you like. Just be yourself. And like if people think you're weird, like look, I've gotten that like I'm weird card. Like
We're all weird.
you're little. Yeah, everybody's weird in their own ways. So just own that.
Yes.
And start enjoying it, because like it's falling in line doesn't do much for anybody other than keep you waiting. You know what I'm saying? You're just standing and falling in the line. So it's like, step out of the line, take some risks in life. That's living is challenges.
Yeah, it is. And I think, going back to the not bullshitting part, but also bullshitting, is keeping it real.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're struggling with something, like it just, to me, it reminds me of sitting around the pub with your boys. Someone's going through a breakup. Someone's, just lost a job. And everyone's sitting around drinking beer trying to solve the issue, and throw out ideas, and collab with each other. That's like in my mind where I like the idea of it, because it's unscripted, it's a free form, right? We're just hanging out. We're putting all of these things out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we need now more than ever, because, with the 10-second TikTok videos and the Instagram stories and all this stuff that's so filtered and scripted down to please the masses, that's all well and good too, right? But
no, it's not.
No, but it is. I mean, that's
Everyone's
fine.
got their thing.
Everything's fine in moderation.
Don't kink shame, you know.
Right? Like, exactly. It's not that it's a terrible thing. It's just that, okay, that's great. You know, that you had this fantastic 10-second video showing you whatever the hell's going on. Yeah. But where's the realness behind it, right? Like,
where's the substance?
Then the next day you blow a tire and you're on the side of the road and you know, whatever the case may be, right? Life comes at us fast.
Yeah.
And we don't want to highlight that, it seems like, anymore. We're only showing the good times, and everything's so good. Everyone's living vicariously and jealous of this person and comparing their life to that person. Forget all that, man. Everyone's equal. Yeah. And that's what I like about this. It resets the field a little bit. No one's above anybody.
Yeah, we talk about that subject like almost every week, but I feel like it's a good weekly reminder because, I mean, I battle with wanting to look at social media. Like, it pulls me in. Like, I want to take a look at it. Like, you know, see what's going on, but it really is just like, it's like pointless chatter. Like what's the substance? So like one thing that I've done is, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll resort to just searching cute animals, because like that's like a good wholesome. If I'm wasting my time looking at social media, if I'm looking at cute animals, then like, you know, I've seen studies where it's like, why are cat videos so popular? Yeah. Because they actually truly like make you feel good in a wholesome way, not like, you know, craving drama and, you know, highlighting misfortune.
You do that on Reddit, I'm assuming.
Yeah,
makes sense. Yeah. Where he was talking before with like Instagram and some of those other ones, it just sets like an unrealistic expectation for who you have to be. It makes you honestly feel worse about yourself. I don't even really use much social media at all, to be honest with you. Don't really have a following. Don't post much of anything at all. I use Reddit and look at specific communities that interest me. I get like sports information from them and whatnot. But like, you know, overall, I try to spend as much time away from that as possible because I spend enough time online, first of all, throughout my day with work anyways. And I don't need to just get off and go into that afterwards. But it really does, like, it gives you like a false sense of like satisfaction of seeing other people's lives. And then you also at the same time feel worse about yourself because you know, like you're seeing them do all these things that are making them happy. What am I doing? You know, like
exactly.
And what can I? So it really does put a bad taste in other people's mouths, and it kind of goes off into their relationships and goes off into every part of who they are. And I just tried to avoid it. You know, some people are good with it, and some people can, like, you know, some people use it for marketing. That's what I went to school for, was marketing.
Okay.
And now I obviously don't do anything with that because it's all social media related, to be honest with you. And that's
you
just
don't really want any part of that.
No, I don't.
I can't say I blame you. I mean, you know, it's obviously pretty crucial for what we do here as far as just having a presence on there, being active on there, keeping people in the loop on there. Anyone that follows us on Instagram sees our stories. Yeah. Like, we still play the game a little bit, so to speak.
Has a purpose, yeah.
Has a purpose. You know, I think that's what it was designed to do, right, was to have that connection and to see what's going on. But I still think we do the best we can at keeping it as real as we can and not, like, doctoring up. Like, we'll still show the rough times and all that stuff. I'm not saying we're the fucking, you know, we got the shit figured out, because we don't. We're just, you know, looking at it with a critical eye, I feel like, you know, because I see all this bullshit on there and it makes me not want to be on there, but then I still have to be on there. Yeah. So you're kind of torn in a couple different directions. So
there's some that are worse than others when it comes to that, obviously, and I don't need to like list it off. I don't think Instagram is the worst in the sense that like it's good for just having pictures.
OnlyFans is the worst.
OnlyFans is the worst.
Well,
yes.
The thing about OnlyFans though is you got to pay for that, right?
I would assume so. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's a paid thing.
Yeah.
So if you're paying for that, then that's on you.
Well, no, and then that's why it's one of the worst, is because it's like literally taking these dudes their money away and giving them a false e-girl. They call electronic girlfriends e-girls, and like it's all toxic. That's the thing, is like if you are thinking about these platforms, these social media platforms, when you should be like focusing on yourself, or like, you know, it's controlling your mind and your time, then you're overdoing it. But like, it's fine if you use the apps, but that's the thing, like, and there's a fine line between using the app and the app controlling your time. Like I'm guilty of it too. Like I've spent, you know, 6 hours scrolling on Reddit before, and just like, oh shit, I accidentally hit the refresh button, and now I'm all the way back at the top of the list. Like I was so
start
deep,
over, yeah.
you know. but that in itself, like, I know a bunch of people can relate to that statement, but it's like, you know, what do we actually, because the brain is still a sponge. Like, right, when we were kids, like, everyone has that thing with kids, like, where, like, kids can, see the paranormal, or kids, like...
You say fuck, and they're going to say that for fucking
Yeah.
a week after that,
Yeah, they absorb everything.
They
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
They do. And so it's like we want to get back to that mentality, though, of, like, where everything is kind of new, and, like, we are enjoying life, like, it's almost the first time. And like, that's... Like, if we're constantly living through other people's lives in social media, like, it's going to be hard to experience the new beauty in your daily life. And it's there, right? But if you're too convoluted with what other people are accomplishing or what other people are doing, then it's like you're missing out. And that's where, like, the whole, like, like, people compare too much and then depression happens from social media. It's because they're not actually living themselves. Like, they're stuck in the matrix of the internet, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think that everyone needs escapes. So everyone needs, like, some sort of escape from their life in general.
100%.
When you have just, like, vices and everything else, everyone has their things. But, like, when you have only escapes and that's, like, all your life is, or only vices and that kind of stuff, that's when it becomes a problem, to be honest with you. So, like we were talking earlier, like, sports and that kind of stuff. Like, I love hockey. I love football. I don't create my entire identity around that because, like, I think people that do that are honestly boring, to be honest with you. And that's just, that's all they talk about. And I don't want to have the same conversation every single day about all this.
That makes sense
with you. So same thing with social media. All they're doing is spending their time on. They go from Instagram to Twitter to Facebook to Reddit or whatever. It's just like they're spending their whole life in some not in reality, I should say. And that's just not someone I really want to associate with, I guess. And no one really will because they're just doing their own thing, to be honest with you. So,
yeah,
that's a pretty solid point. I mean, I just interact with a lot of people that put so much stock into the likes and the comments, and
get their self-worth from that.
Yeah. Did you see the thing I put up? Well, no, I didn't, because I was kind of busy and I didn't have a chance to get around to it yet. But it's you look at the last 10 years.
I'm not saying you can't do that either, because some people actually get, like, a little bit of a boost from that, but don't put their whole identity on it either. It's just, like, a little thing to kind of give them, like you said, you look at, like, little cute videos online. Everyone's got, like, their own little thing.
Well, I mean, and you can be giving back to a certain extent. Like, if you're a content creator that is really dialed into doing something that's selfless, like, to the definition, you want to be selfless. And I do see content creators that, post without filters and create a realistic body image and like, talk real things and are trying to be inspirational or upfront about their suicide attempts, or, like, like, there's a lot of that out there. And I feel like all the likes that those get, like, every like saves a life, or every like, helps somebody to a certain extent. But when you're out there just trying to get likes to just feel good about yourself, like, you're not doing it to help others. So there's a bunch of fine lines here.
I mean, to the other end of that, though, you see people, like, posting up, like how all the people used to change their profile pictures on Facebook to whatever the theme was of the week or month or whatever. It's just kind of like a shallow attempt at attention, and it doesn't really seem genuine, I guess, when it comes to that. So there's a little bit of give and take on that. Like, I don't know. Like you said, a like can save a life when in certain situations, especially with, like, mental health. Obviously, that's an important thing to talk about and discuss. But there's a lot of just, like, fake. Like, I mean, that's what a lot of fakeness, I guess, in general. In social
like,
media,
people faking having Tourette's and stuff to get likes and, like,
I've wondered
donations.
about that.
Like, that's fucked up.
Yeah, I've wondered about that.
Like, if you're somebody that does that, like, screw that.
Yeah,
it's not good. I mean, you're always gonna have you're always gonna have some asshole, or some bitch that's gonna try to play the game in their favor.
Yeah.
Right. And to try to manipulate the masses, so to speak, to make them feel sorry for themselves. I mean, that's just the nature of the human mind, right? Everyone's always trying to fuck someone or scam someone over. And that's where, like, a lot of times when you see a lot of these charities trying to do good things, they end up getting taken advantage of. And that's a problem too. And like you said, when people are changing their profile pictures to I support this, I'm vaccinated, I support Ukraine. It's like, okay, terrific. Thanks for sharing your opinion with me, but what are you actually doing about it? It's like when you run a marathon or something, people actually donate money and then they run it. right? That's actually being involved and engaged. I'd rather just give the money and then drink beer and watch everyone else run, but I'll still contribute to the cause of whatever that is.
I did it. It's fucking brutal. I will never do it again, to be honest with you. So. We'll never do it again. Yeah, it was like 95. I died out there that day, to be honest with you.
95 degrees?
Yeah, it was 95
Oh,
degrees.
yeah, that's way too hot.
I'm not trying to run in that, no. I don't even want to run in, 55.
You know, and I'm bald too, so like I put sunscreen on and it like melted off within probably an hour, and I got sun poisoning. It was the fucking worst. Oh yeah.
Oh no.
Like my forehead like went out probably an inch and a half out of the side. I look like Neanderthal. I always say I look like the guy from the Goonies, Sloth, you know. Hey, you guys.
Bro, that's a far, like, because you're a handsome man, I would say. So that's like a far ways to go.
I don't know if I would go there, but like, you know, like I was up here, and then the next day it slid down to the side of my face, and my face was just like swollen. It was just like pure liquid.
I don't know what it is. You had loose skin.
It wasn't skin. It was like a fluid of some sort. Yeah, sorry if this is getting kind of fucking gross. I don't know, but like it was some kind of like because when you get hit from sun and you get really bad sunburn, it reacts and it tries to like put in
there's like
some
a pocket,
fluid,
a blister.
Yeah,
it's like a big blister.
Yeah, but I don't know if it wasn't pus though. It was just like I honestly don't even know. But essentially it was up here the first day because that's where I just got dominated while I was running, and then the next day I was at work. And it was on the side of my face, and I was looking fucking awful.
Was it painful? Did you want to pop it?
No, it was just, it was like, like a waterbed, I guess would be the best way to describe it, just kind of fucking weird. Yeah.
And so this came from, this was sun poisoning from trying to run a marathon.
Oh, I ran a marathon. I should say I ran 18 miles and walked a good portion of it after that.
So is cancer considered sun poisoning? Like what? I've never heard sun poisoning before.
No. Sun poisoning is like, it's almost like getting too sunburnt all at one moment, essentially, and then your skin reacts in a way, I guess, that is unsavory.
Okay. And it can make you feel like sick too, right? Like you like dizzy, nauseous, dehydrated.
Interesting.
100%. Yeah, I felt awful.
So sun poisoning is like the worst degree of like a sunburn.
No, I don't know. I don't think so, because like I think if you have no protection at all, because I did have some sunscreen on.
Okay.
I've had it before where I've had like scales basically from being sunburned so bad, and I would say that's probably up there with the severities of actually being sunburnt, because it's almost like a physical burn at that point. I wasn't physically burnt from this. It was more so like, it's just how my body reacted to being extremely sunburnt, I guess. So that's what they called it when I went into the doctor, and the doctor essentially charged me $200 just to tell me that I could go to the pharmacy and get a type of lotion that may or may not help me. Huge waste of my fucking time, to be honest with you, and money. But that is our healthcare system in a nutshell right there. So
yeah, let's not even get started. Hey, we say we don't talk politics on here. We can't talk about the healthcare system.
Well, no, that'd be a topic for another time, another podcast, of course. But I'll tell you this,
that's
man.
all we got to say about that.
Speaking of sunburns, I don't do sunscreen very well.
Yeah.
And I've been fucked a few times.
What do you mean you don't do sunscreen very well? Like you don't
apply it? I don't apply it.
He doesn't
okay,
actively,
okay.
He's not proactive with it.
I'm not good at it.
Same thing.
Like how you said it, I thought
though.
like maybe like you just didn't apply it well or something.
I think
like,
that's
or like after you put it on, like it didn't take well, like because of your unique skin oilage.
No, I don't think so. I think that I'm not good at applying it when I need to, and then I don't apply it when it's necessary. A couple things. I don't like lotion, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, unless it's on my dick.
Whoa!
But I just don't like the feel of lotion, really. The smell of it kind of makes me nauseous. So if I'm putting it on my face, I'm not feeling good.
You get sticky afterwards.
I don't like it.
Yeah,
I'm cold. Like it's just an uncomfortable feeling.
Yeah.
So in return, my face gets absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
I have lots of documentation of me being at like events, and I just look like a fucking raccoon because my shit's just red and wrecked.
Yep.
And then the worst sunburn I ever got, I'll tell you this, was on my legs. I was doing kayaking in the mangroves.
Okay.
And I didn't put any sunscreen on my legs, and it hurt so bad. I mean, my legs were fried to the fucking bone. And like I couldn't even stand up. Like every time I would stand up, my knees were just screaming.
Yeah.
They hurt so bad.
It's like anytime I've had that before, where like if you get burnt in a certain like position, like your knees are bent or whatever, and then you stand up, it's just rubbing against each other, and it's awful. I know exactly.
Oh, dude, it was the worst pain I've ever felt. Like I couldn't walk.
White people problems, fuck it.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. A little bit. The only thing I could do was lay down. That was the only time it didn't hurt.
Yeah.
On my back. That was it. If I stood up to walk, do anything, absolutely mortified in pain. Worst summer I ever had.
That's not fun.
So yeah, lesson learned. If you're going to do kayaking in the hot summer sun, lotion up.
Did you know that you can get sunburned on your eyeballs?
I feel like I did know that.
I did not until it happened to me because I did a 14er and we were post-holing. It was like a 7-hour fucking ordeal because
post-holing?
Yeah, like your knees are knee deep in snow basically.
Oh,
like,
okay.
Yeah, because we weren't planning ahead, to be honest with you. We didn't know there was gonna be that much snow up there, and we got up there, and then I didn't bring sunglasses because I thought we were gonna be tearing it up and down quick enough to where like the sun was hardly gonna be even up.
We always underestimate the mountain, don't we?
Yeah, it was not fun, and I didn't realize that it was reflecting off of the snow into my eyes, and my eyes were just like red for a week. Basically.
And you weren't wearing any sunglasses or anything?
Not wearing sunglasses. I was very unprepared. Let's just say that it was another. I'm pretty sure I got sun poisoning from that as well. It was another like swelling situation.
Bro, I've never heard about snow poisoning. Wait, snow poisoning?
Sun poisoning. Yeah.
Wait, why am I saying snow poisoning?
It was assisted.
It came from the snow.
It got the assist. From
a snow-assisted sun poison.
Yeah.
Well, you've seen people get like brutal, what do they call them? Goggle, burns or whatever. Snowboarders. These guys probably have
goggle tans. Yeah, they always have goggle tans.
Yeah, because you're seeing those rays reflecting off the snow. I mean, it's a water-based reflection.
Take those goggles off and you'll fucking learn. I'll tell you that right there.
So your eyeballs got incinerated?
They were red. They were red. Like it looked like I was permanently stoned for probably like a week plus after that. And they were dry. They were like extremely dry.
Was it painful?
It wasn't as painful as like a severe sunburn, but it was still uncomfortable, I would say.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't say I've ever sunburned my eyes.
No.
Yeah. But I'm pretty good about wearing sunglasses. I wear them everywhere, even when it's not sunny.
And I don't wear sunglasses. That's my biggest thing. So I'm just used to not wearing them. I'm used to just kind of squinting a little bit and just kind of.
Got to show off those beautiful ocean blues, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you can't hide these things.
I love casually flirting with male guests. Like, I feel like it's a thing though, because you can't just like, the times are the times.
Yeah, you can't do that.
No. So like I feel like I can get away more with like, complimenting men on the air.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Someone's gonna be upset about it.
Eventually.
Is there?
Yeah,
Maybe.
Someone's gonna be upset.
Why?
Maybe.
Why?
I'm not gonna be upset. There's different preferences, different things.
Yeah. So hey, if the person I complimented isn't upset, then how could anybody else be upset?
No, that's not a thing. I don't think.
Right?
I mean, that's a good point, but I just don't think it's gonna hold strength.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna be upset.
Plead the fifth. Yeah.
Plead the fifth.
Yeah.
If more people just pleaded the fifth, that's one thing I've been trying to get better at as time has gone on.
Is utilizing the Fifth Amendment?
No, is actually talking less, which is kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
Listening more.
I listen. Yeah.
Talking less. The guy who has a podcast.
Yeah.
And then, but also not talking about. Okay, so I'm gonna get a little serious. Not talking about goals all the time, because I feel like a lot of people can, talk is cheap, and they like have big talk and like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing these things, and that's cool and all. Like, it's great to have an idea. It's good to affirm it to yourself and say it out loud to get people to believe in you. But like true people who are getting it done, they're not talking about getting it done. They're working at getting it done, and then what shows is the result, right? So like if you're really getting after something, then you're gonna you don't have to tell people because they're just gonna know. So that's like one thing I've been really trying to like dial in a little bit more.
Yeah, it's the whole don't talk about it, be about it type of a deal there. Yeah. No, I mean, it's important to set goals, obviously, and you want to have goals, and you want to be working. I mean, for me personally, I want to be working towards something regularly all the time, whether it's personal or professional or whatever it is, But the people that typically are the loudest in the room are, like we've heard this before, are the ones that know the least, and the people that talk about consistently trying to accomplish goals are the ones that are more likely to fold and not actually complete those tasks, to be honest. And in my experience, I would say there's definitely exceptions to that case. But.
Yeah, of course. But I think you're right. I think the majority of the time what you described is pretty accurate, and going back to social media again, you see a lot of that on there, people posting their success stories, which is great.
Yeah.
Share that success energy for sure. But are you truly hitting those goals yourself? I mean, that's what I would ask each and every individual. What's important to you? What milestone are you trying to achieve this week? Did you get there? Are you satisfied with that result? Great. Do you feel the need to share that with people on social media? That's another question. Because I mean, success energy is great too, right? You want to spread that around a little bit. But you want to hit those personal goals yourself.
Yeah, people feed off of that. Yeah, and it's definitely important. But like you said, when people see other people being successful in whatever aspect that they're really committing their lives to, you know, they'll feed off of that as well. And I think that there's different types of goals. There's long-term goals, there's short-term goals, obviously. And I don't know. Some people just, you know, just like to talk. That's really what it comes down to, I guess. So
It's true. And, you know, I guess, like, I'm going to pivot that like this. Like, keep talking, but make it an inner dialogue. You know, make it a dialogue with yourself, so then that way you're in your own head about it. Like, you're pushing yourself to try to create this. And you critique yourself, too. Because that's the thing is, like, you can't, like, try to achieve something big or something significant without, you know, taking a bruise or two or messing up that sequence that time. You know, how do you learn?
Yeah.
So it's like anything of significance is gonna take time, commitment, and like a self grit. Like, you have grit within that you're willing to, like, you know, say no to having fun that night. Like, all your friends want to go out or like go get dinner, and you're like, no, I have to do what I need to do to, like, really get this done. And it's like it's sacrificing. Like, to get to where you want to go, you have to do things that you don't want to do, basically.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think taking yourself out of your comfort zone is probably, for me personally, the thing that has excelled my personal life and my career the most out of anything in my, like, I moved from a smallish town in Minnesota that I had been for, I don't know, like 18, 19 years at the time, you know, and that's honestly when my life, I would say, actually began after that, to be honest with you. Like, I have some of my best friends actually are from there. I still keep in contact with them, but at the same time, like, I was fucking doing nothing while I was there, you know. And I needed for my own personal self to just leave that situation and really put myself out there and be kind of a little scared for a little bit there, you know. And that's kind of, I think once you put yourself out in those different situations, that's when you'll see the most growth. That's when you'll really figure out what you want to do and kind of set goals, like we said, and kind of attack it that way. So
You find out what you want, but find out what you don't want.
Yeah,
And the only way to find that out is to take those risks.
Yeah.
You know, getting out of that complacent mindset.
Yeah. Can't play scared. Yeah.
Exactly. I know it's easier said than done, like a cliche statement for people like, oh, we just wake up tomorrow and change your life. Not necessarily, but just take small steps to do so, right? I mean, like you said, it's about, you know, am I happy in this situation? Do I want to roll the dice in that situation? You know, and then when you start to see the results when you do that, you know, when you do take that little bit of risk and you're like, wow, that's good. You know, you start to feel like, man, maybe I can build on this.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, that's living.
Sometimes you just need that spark to ignite the flame, you know, and then once it starts, you can be unstoppable in certain areas, in certain aspects of your life, you know. And I've talked to Arthur about it. I mean, I'm all about self-reflection. I like to look at myself, not necessarily, like, not figuratively or not literally, I guess, in the mirror, you know, but figuratively, and I just like to kind of self-reflect on things that I've done for that day, that week, or whatever, and kind of grow from that all the time. I do it on a daily basis. So.
I think it's healthy.
And that's what you get when you put down your phones and start. Because look,
you're hiding from it.
If you're struggling with being with yourself without an external input, like music, social media, video games, movies. You know, something like, you can't just sit there in silence and really, like, be alone with yourself. Like, that's where true growth comes from. Yeah. You know, it is not anywhere else. It's all right here.
The only one I'm going to disagree with you on there is music.
Okay.
Because some people use music to meditate or self-reflect with that, and sometimes you can set the mood or set a vibe that really does help you kind of channel into more of that energy.
Accept it. Yeah. I'll accept that.
That's the only one. That's the only one I would say, you know, but everything else, spot on.
Some kind of music can be very distracting.
You can distract yourself.
But, like, well. I feel like if it's more like a melodic type of, like, you know, or music that, like, brings you to that place, because if I'm, like, listening to, you know, some hard metal or heavy hip hop or something like that, like, that's not going to help me.
No.
I feel like you need to remove the lyrics.
Sometimes. So that's what I was saying. Like, sometimes there's lyrics that actually are very indicative to where your life is at that point, and you can use those lyrics. Like, Like I knew I was gonna get shit honestly for wearing this hoodie when I came in here, because I wear this I wear this all the time. This is basically my jacket at this point, and everyone that we work with knows that.
Here,
this is
lean
like
up a little bit just so and then scooch to your left. Oh yeah,
Right
atmosphere.
there.
Yeah, there
atmosphere.
it is.
Yeah. But like
Perfect.
he's a perfect example of that. Case in point, you know, he has like breakup music. He has, you know, happy music, sad music, angry music, all the above. And if you channel the right mood for what you're in, you can actually dive deeper into some of those thoughts and emotions when it comes to that. So
That's true. I mean, there's breakup music for a reason.
yes, exactly.
You know, and I've listened to a lot of that in the last 7 months.
And sometimes it can create a little bit of a spiral if you're not careful.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm a big music guy too. You know, I played in bands. You know, I've always related to music. I feel like it's a soundtrack to life. But I mean, when I'm pissed off and I want to slam beers, waterfall beers, not just drink them like drink them up here.
Yeah.
When I'm doing that,
Yeah.
you know, Five Finger Death Punch, Godsmack, Metallica. That's typically what I'm going to do it to, right?
Yeah.
So and that'll put me in that mood, like
Yeah,
I'm just ready to fucking rage.
Yeah. Flip
you
a
know?
table over. And
Flip a
stuff.
table over.
Yeah.
Yeah, now you're speaking my language
Yeah.
here. It's the shit I grapple with daily.
Yeah.
And that music can amplify those feelings.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
okay, so this is one thing I love about you, because we work professionally together, but I respect you as an individual and also like a mentor, because you've helped teach me things.
Yeah.
But like how, like, you're not afraid to call out bullshit. Like, you know, I listed some points there, and Matt was like, absolutely, but you know, there was that one point, and then you went on talking about it. You explained your shit, and I was like,
Yeah.
indubitably. You know
This is
what I'm
what
saying?
I do for a living, man.
But I just love that. I love that. Like, you can't be afraid of
Yeah.
confrontation, though.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. I mean, you it's hard to have conversation without some sort of confrontation, to be honest with you. Like, there's definitely, I mean, do you really want to have a conversation where everyone's agreeing with you all the time? No.
Boring.
Sometimes debating is fun, to be honest with you. I like a solid debate when it comes to that. I mean, me and my girlfriend do that all the time, you know? So it's just one of those things. But like healthy debates, you know.
Healthy debates.
Healthy debates.
Yeah, you're right, because there is a difference between healthy debates and like the
just bickering, fighting, that kind of stuff. There's a difference without a doubt. So
yeah, absolutely. Because then it can turn ugly if
Yeah.
you're not careful. Then it starts turning into nitpicking.
people take it personally, whereas like debates typically are one person's taking a stance, the other person's playing devil advocate, something like that, you know. And it's like maybe they don't even fully agree with that, but they just kind of want to just, you know, bullshit for a little bit and just see where your thoughts actually lie.
Yeah, like how far down does this rabbit hole actually go, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, though, I feel like when you can have like those in-person debates, you know, or even maybe over the phone, in-person is the best because you feel the body language, you can read the energy.
Yeah.
It's not going to get as heated as it does when you look at like the keyboard warriors and the texting battles and all this shit.
Because they know they have no consequences to their actions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
100%. They can do. They feel comfortable behind. You can't see me. I'm typing this stuff out, making you look, you know, making myself, you know, look taller than you. I'm trying to pull you to the ground and stand taller, as Paul Roseberry said.
Yeah.
And I don't like that stuff, man. Like if there's truly a conflict, then you need to talk it out, whether it's in person, over the phone, voice to voice, because this tech stuff has really put an element into, you know, play that is a little bit divided. It's fake, and it just doesn't carry the same weight.
Yeah.
You know, it just doesn't. You know, we need to talk this stuff out. If you're truly having a conflict with your homies, or, you know, something you need to hash out with this individual, call them up. Or say, hey, man, let's go out for a beer and sit down. Because every time, from me personally experience, if I've had a problem or if I disagree with somebody and we sit down and talk about live action, chances are this thing's going to get worked out.
Yeah.
If we carry this thing out over a text message or an email or whatever the case may be, it's going to be dragged out forever. And, you know, and then you bring in social media back into that when people are playing the keyboard warrior shit and looking for likes and trying to attack you in the comments.
And then you also read it however you're feeling, which obviously can convolute the
It's
entire message.
It's a huge problem. It's a huge
there's
problem, honestly.
no context behind it.
Angry people read emails angrily, and that's just that. It's
Exactly.
just how it's just how it works.
That's how I read it.
Yeah.
It could be as simple as, well, I'll see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Well, I'm going to see you at 9 a.m.
I'll fucking see you tomorrow at 10 a.m.
I'm putting 2 exclamation points on this motherfucker.
But I think the difference is from what your point, where like you sit down with a person in person. I think it's the gesture that you're actually going out of your way to be in person shows that like they are worth mending this relationship and trying to fix that and build off of it. Whereas like if you just consistently text or I mean a phone call would help sometimes too, honestly, if that's the only option you have at that point. But if you're kind of ignoring the issue at that point, to me it's just like is that person in your life even worth having in your life at that point or not? I mean, I've definitely run into that more so within the last 5-6 years of people where it's just like is it even worth it anymore? I don't know. Like I have really good friends. I have friends that I would do anything for, and then there's some people that have been just a constant like fucking drama in your life, where like it's not necessarily, it doesn't actually affect it, but it's just like a negative influence in your life. And do you want to have that negative influence in your life? No. I personally, I try to focus more on the positive. I'm a very optimistic person in general, and I try to keep that kind of level of optimism around me as well, to be honest with you, because that's where you'll find the most happiness personally, I think, in your life. So
I don't think that could be any better said, man. I think you hit the nail on the head there for sure. And, to quote Art a little bit, I think everyone's on the chopping block when it comes to that. Family, friends, doesn't matter. If you're not cutting the mustard, you're on the chopping block.
Yeah.
You're up for elimination.
Yeah.
And that's not
anyone could get it.
It's not a threat. It's not like, look, if you don't change, no, like you just might not work for me.
Yeah.
Right. And it's okay to take that kind of stance.
And some people have a little bit more of a leeway than other people do. Like family, for example, you're going to give them, especially if you grew up with them their whole life and maybe something's changed in their life and they're going through a hard time or whatever, you're going to give them a little bit more leeway with that. But like, so, like friends that have been a constant, I wouldn't say annoyance, but I guess like kind of a anchor, I guess, in your life, pulling you down a little bit, and it's been that way for X amount of years, and you've been trying your best to try to pull them out of the water, but they fucking keep trying to drag you down with them. At some point, like, hey man, like best of luck to you, man. Like I hope you do. I hope you do something.
They got to hit rock bottom.
Yeah.
And
the only way they're going to do that is if you let them do it. To be honest with you.
You can't keep catering and helping people.
Yeah.
It's tough though, man, because in life we remember most things, right? Like I would like to say that most people have a great memory and they remember important people in their lives and people that we grow up with and stuff. And I mean, I even had a friend similar. Like I knew him in preschool. I remember like when we were 2 years old, I met this cat, and I moved out of the city, and then from there, like we would go hang out like every week or so. Like our parents would drop us off halfway, but like as high school approached, like I just became less of a priority, and I could sense that. I wasn't the cool city kid at that point. Like I was from the burbs at that point, and this and that, and I kept reaching out. And he's kind of wasn't reciprocating, so I just stopped reaching out, and then it fizzled out. And it's just one of those things where it's like, everybody has a purpose in your life, whether if that's like a relationship or a friendship or a deceased family member, like however you want to reflect on things, and learn the lessons, because that's between the lines through living. I feel like there's lessons between the lines. And every experience is like a sentence or a paragraph, right? In this metaphorical sense. Yeah. And there's always lines that you could read between. And so it's like, yeah, if people aren't suiting your needs, then they're on the chopping block. Mm-hmm. If people are something that you want, that you admire and would like to emulate a little bit, then maybe you reach out to them and like, hey, can we grab a drink sometime? Or like, it's up to you, but like everything is temporary in life. And that's one thing that I've like really tried to digest, because, even with Discussion Combustion, like this podcast, I love it so much, but like in a certain extent, like, even if it goes until I die, like I'm going to stop. I'll stop experiencing it at some point in time. Yeah. So it's like everything's temporary. Yeah. But within that, there's the beauty of wow, I won't have this forever, and isn't this nice right now?
Should enjoy it in the moment. Yes. 100%. That's one thing. Like you have to find a balance of being able to really look at what is around you and enjoy the things that are in the moment, while also looking towards the future and trying to, like I said, set goals, plan, that kind of stuff. I am definitely a planner. I have ideas for what I want for my future, but I also am not one to shy away from living in the moment and really enjoying things that are happening right now. So it's very important. I can't imagine like neglect. Like there's a lot of people who turn like a blind eye to things that are going on around them on a daily basis, like we said, on social media or whatever. So.
One of the things I like to say, how many times have I said it now? I'm going to say it again. People will do more to avoid pain than they will to gain pleasure. Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding, ding. That's 1,000th time.
It could be. Yeah. And that's not my quote. That's Coach Corey Wayne. I love you, Coach Corey Wayne. But it just, that statement rings a lot of, truth to me, because I see it live action. I felt it even, doing more to avoid pain than you will to gain pleasure. And when you really break that down, it comes back to being complacent. It comes back to not wanting to take chances.
I think it's being scared, to be honest with you. I lived my whole fucking life that way from when I was in elementary school, to be honest with you, all the way until I was in, and like I said, when I moved, basically. When I moved, that really is what sparked that in me, that I'm like, I need to try at something right now. But like all the way through middle school, high school, college, like beginning stages of college, I should say, I just did not give a fuck about anything. And it was mostly just me being a scared little bitch, to be honest with you, and it's just not wanting to actually put myself out there and like fail at something. And you have to fail at something in order to succeed at other things. And it's just it's a fucking scary thought sometimes, but like I've learned that there's literally no other way to do it. So
true, man.
It's
a long, cold, hard road.
It's easy to say. It's so easy to say these things like you got to struggle to succeed and this and that. But like when you really get down to the nitty gritty and like the true story behind, because like I wasn't saying that shit when I was 23. I guarantee you that. This is 35-year-old shit.
I didn't give a fuck when I was 23.
Yeah, but
it's true.
The whole saying like if I would have known back then. But nah, because you have to live life, experience, make mistakes, and listen. Like if anyone out there is struggling, and you're going through a time with whatever it is, arguing, family abuse, alcoholism, drug abuse, whatever it is, anorexia, like whatever. There's a bunch of shit, but like the main thing is that you just need to be honest with yourself. Like I feel like that's an area that social media, deludes and like all these comparisons, like what's really, like, when's the last time that you sat there and thought, like, what you define as success? And I say this from time to time on the pod, but, like, I repeat this question myself, and that's the only why I bring it up, is because, like, I'm constantly trying to think of, like, what do I define as successful? Am I living my definition of successful? And that definition is going to be different for everybody.
What do you define as successful? Just out of curiosity.
My definition of successful is like a happiness, because I look at it like I'm on my deathbed. Yeah. I'm on my and that's so cliche. Everyone's going to say
that was literally what I would say. Same thing.
Everyone's going to say that, but like if you're thinking about it, you're on your deathbed. You're laying there and you're terminally ill. You're going to die. Like you're conscious of it, and you're laying in your bed and you're thinking like, damn it, I didn't take that risk. Like we were just talking about, like you have to take risks. Yeah. Like you're laying there thinking I didn't take that risk, or I didn't take that turn, or I knew I should have went there, but I didn't. And you're just cycling in your head thinking about life, and like, because it's a beautiful journey, right? But it's a temporary journey. And so to me, like if I can daily do things that make me happy, like where I can laugh at myself, not take myself too seriously, and have fun and help others enjoy their days. Like that's happiness to me, is like having a pure energy in the moment that helps other people also enjoy this moment, even when it's a rainy day, like it's shitty, windy, whatever. Like I think it's beautiful. Like and like, because I'm on a second lease on life. Like the listeners know, I know you know. Yeah. Like I like with the whole opiate thing, like I'm on a second lease on life. And so it's like I would never take any of that back, and I don't regret any of that, because through that experience of being in the lowest of lows and then coming out of it, bro, it's like the rose that grew from concrete. Like life is beautiful. Mm-hmm. And so that's my definition of happiness. I could really go off on that.
No, that's your definition of success, which is happiness.
Success. Yes. You're right.
But that would be my answer as well. Happiness. I mean, there's so many successful people out there how everyone would deem successful that probably aren't happy people in general. And when they're on their deathbed, they're going to be looking back at, like, what did I really do? I made lots of money. I was with some good looking chicks out there, whatever, had nice cars. Like, but at the end of the day, were they happy with what they did in their life? Like, I don't know. Like maybe they were, maybe they weren't. It really, happiness obviously varies it's subjective. It varies from person to person. But like for me personally, I just want to find something that makes me happy. And I've talked about this with a lot of people actually outside of work, because like work, like we already know this, like what we do for a living, it's not necessarily like my passion by any means, It's like it's a job, and I'm very good at it, and I'm passionate that I am good at it, and I'm passionate that I have a value that I provide within that. That's like what makes me feel satisfied within my work. But like my passions outside of that is what I really go do that for. That's the whole reason I'm in work, and that's what makes me happy, is what my work is enabling me to be able to do outside of that. And as long as I can do that, eventually, have a family or whatever, somewhere down the road, and like continue to do some outdoor stuff and just do my thing. I'm a pretty a pretty homebody, I like to do my own thing. I like to be on my own a lot, and it's different when you have someone that is the same way. It doesn't really feel like you're with someone. It's like you're alone together, if that makes sense. I don't know if that really makes sense. Your alone time is their time, but it doesn't really feel like it at the same time, and I just want something like that. I have an idea for where I want to go in life, and it's obviously everyone's different, but at the end of the day, like, success for me is happiness as well, and I just want to be happy with whatever I decide that I'm doing. So,
well, you seem genuinely happy. I mean, Look, listeners, I talk with this guy, at least video calls. We talk at least video calls 3 a week recently.
Yeah,
we've been getting it in.
Yeah.
And I feel like your growth and your career growth and relationship growth and all these things are happening because at one point in time you decided like I'm gonna respect myself.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where that's the biggest thing for any self journey is self-respect.
Yeah, start with shedding dead weight, to be honest with you. I think that's the biggest thing. We talked about that with friends. You can talk about that with relationships. You can talk about it with like a lot of different things, to be honest with you. But like at the end of the day, the only way that you're going to be able to climb up and continue to go in that upwards trajectory is to shed that dead weight and to free yourself of those negative, I don't know if they're people or feelings or whatever, but you want to do what you can to really shed all of that dead weight, because that's the only way. And I do think, honestly, since we started where we're at currently, it's been uphill. Like I shouldn't say uphill, but it's been an upwards trajectory for me ever since then. So I do feel like I've had a more positive outlook on life, and I feel like that's also kind of fallen into place with how I've done in my career and how I've done in my personal life as well on top of that. And I think that having that positive energy and staying optimistic and you have to be patient. I think patience is probably one of the most important things that you can. It's hard to teach, it's hard to practice, but I'm an extremely patient person now, and it's something that I've definitely practiced for a long time. And you can ask just about anyone. I'm probably one of the more patient people that you'll run into when it comes to that. I give people multiple chances, and when I get fucking pissed, then there's a problem, to be honest with you. So it's
like Matthew Williams lost his patience. Lord help us.
Something's fucked up. I don't know what it is, but it's May the 4th, I guess. There's a disturbance in the forest,
I was cheesing off that earlier. I was sending it to my clients and shit. I'm like texting all my people. I'm like, yo, let's go on this.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that's a good outlook, man, for sure. I mean, it really comes down to individual goals too. We talked about that a lot last week, and what works for me might not work for Arthur, might not work for you. Everyone's kind of got their own path to walk in life, but I think at the end of the day, we all share the same values, and the ultimate goal in this life is happiness.
Yeah.
And that does carry in with success, right? Finding something that you get excited about when you get out of bed every morning, right? When the alarm goes off, do you feel like, fuck, I don't want to face today?
Yeah.
Or do you feel like, fuck yeah, I'm ready to kick today's ass?
And like I said, sometimes that's not me with work at all. Most of the time, I should say.
Yeah, me too.
My alarm goes off. I'm not fucking stoked to be doing what I'm doing some days.
I try to be some more. I'm like, damn it.
He's got some, what do we call it? Toxic positivity? Is that what you call it? Yeah.
Look, I need the first cup of coffee before I get toxic.
And he gets real positive, and sometimes I'm like, dude, shut the fuck
Nope,
up.
Not today.
I just want to be pissed. I just want to live in this for a second, and he's just shoving that positivity down your throat for the most part. So and it's needed sometimes, to be honest with you. And I fucking love the guy. He's great at what he does, and I definitely appreciate him being on my daily life.
Well, and of course I work beside him in a different realm. So I can share some of those same feelings.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just want to be pissed off and mad about it. And he's like, Kev, tighten up. Which is great. I mean, that makes for a good counterbalance. A good co-host, good business partner. But I know what you mean. Some days you just need to kick and scream a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just not feeling today, so I'm gonna be a little pissy.
That's something I've been trying to be a lot better as a guy in a relationship with a woman. Obviously, is like sometimes they just want to talk about things, and I'm always here trying to fix things because that's just too.
Have you ever read Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus?
I have. I've heard of it. I've never read it.
Okay, so like. All right, and I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, keep going.
But I have to give you this information, and I have to give it to the listeners too, because this is the
Stuff
thing.
you're shaking his head.
No, Kevin, you know what I'm about to say.
I know
right?
exactly what you're going to say.
Yeah, you know what I'm about to talk about, and this is real, bro.
Yeah,
this
and guess
is
what?
real.
It didn't work for either of us. So.
Well, it still helped my patience through the process, I guess. So, all right. So basically, my main things from this book was that women like to express their emotions and be understood. They don't need their problems fixed, but they just want it to be heard and recognized. But and this is like instinctual, like driven from like you need to fuck kind of shit. Like so men are instinctually, we want to put on our fix-it hat, and that's exactly what it deemed it was, a fix-it hat. And so that's why there's like this miscommunication with men and women, and why, like, in my relationship I don't feel understood. It's because if your man wants to fix something, you got to just let your man fix it. But like if your girl is explaining her day and talking about and she just wants to have her emotions understood,
just vent.
And so there's like that conflict, because like naturally men want to, when you hear this problem, you want to present a solution, but that's not what is needed there. What's needed there is like understanding and compassion,
empathy.
Empathy. And so like I don't know, whatever you're just talking about there, like
it's literally the same thing. Like that's exactly where I was going with it. It was just like at some point you just have to. I'm so bad at it because it's hard for me to just like sit back when I see a solution to something and like not say what that solution is. But at some point you just have to just listen and respect and just kind of be there. Be present and available, I guess, at the end of the day. And that's something I've been trying to wrap my head around more so lately than anything else. So
Constant battle for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, again, it comes down to respect too a little bit. Respecting each other's time, respecting the need to vent. Right? Maybe you had a rough day. Maybe she had a rough day. Being able to sit down and talk about those things together, I think it sounds easy, but can be kind of difficult. Yeah. I mean, we're all walking our own walks in this life and dealing with different things. And, I think to echo your point, I feel the same way. I always wanted to put on the fix-it hat. Yeah. Or I think maybe Art said that. Yeah. But, naturally, right, because we think a little bit more logistically. Women think a little bit more rationally and emotionally, right? So naturally, when we hear a problem like, oh, so-and-so and did this and I feel this way about it, we want to jump in and say, hey, have you thought about this? Or how do you feel about that? Or would you approach it this way? And they're like, no, fuck that. You just need to understand that I'm pissed off and mad about it. Yeah. Right? And so that's something that at 33 years old, I still haven't figured out. Yeah. And I probably won't.
All you got to do is, baby, fuck those people. Or baby, like I'm pissed off for you. Yeah. And then you just got to leave it.
Genuine though. If it's genuine,
you have to be
just
genuine.
tell them what they want to hear.
That's the thing is,
you got to be genuine.
You'll know you're with the right one when it is genuine, because like I can't even tell you how many times I've had to fake being genuine with someone, because it's just like to you at the time what they're complaining about is just like why, but
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. But like I think when you find someone that you genuinely want to be with, spend your life with, to care for, like that actually becomes a genuine emotion for you at that point, where like what they're saying really does matter at that point. And I think that's when you realize that you're with someone that you actually could connect with long term, I guess. So yeah.
And I feel like everybody to a certain extent wants that in their life. Like like I'm very fortunate with my friend group. Like I feel like I have an extended family with my friend group, but I'm not going to be romantic with you, Kevin, even though like maybe one day, I don't know.
We'll see. This thing can go sideways.
I mean, you guys know where I'm going with that. So it's like you need that extra intimate like connection, and you can only get that from the gender that you're attracted to. Yeah. And so to a certain extent, like it's always awesome to try to, like, we all want to find our other selves in this plethora of people. Yeah. We all want to find that equal of ourselves out there, and so that's like the journey of like,
I would say that perfect counter to where
I mean right, so I feel like most people want that, right? Like and I mean, I'm taking a long break right now so I could really focus on myself, because I've never truly focused on myself. But eventually, it's going to be like, You know, like, you know, I love my friends, but I need more than just friends.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, you can get a lot of that in a lot of different areas. I mean, I put a lot of stock into family and friends make you the richest man, you know, and you know, if you have a good support group around you, I feel like that's great. I mean, I understand what you're saying about, you know, the gender you're attracted to obviously gives you a sense of, you know, companionship, and there's obviously the sexual energy there as well. But man, I mean, sometimes I just wonder if it's like, if it's even worth it. You know, I'm like, I seem to vibe better with my homies, my coworkers. You know, I just do better not dealing with that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm just not good at it.
And that's where I think, like, there's, like, if you are obviously attracted to the specific gender, everyone's different, and you will find eventually, potentially, I guess not everyone will, I guess that's not a given, but like, if you don't settle, I should say, and a lot of people are just so content with settling on something that's just, you know, 75-50% of what they want, and then they'll just deal with the other 50%. You know, I think that if you do legitimately just kind of like wait it out and see what's out there, I think that something will come that is at least, you know, like 85 to 100%, somewhere within that range that you'll be a lot more happy with, you know. And
That's super solid, man.
yeah, and I feel like,
I think that's
you know,
great advice for people.
No, I do too, and I want to segue that into a would you rather, not necessarily for us three, but for the listeners and people to ask themselves. Would you rather, you know, settle in a complacent mindset where, well, this person checks 50% of the box, and I'm getting older now, so this will just work? Or would you rather go the distance, roll the dice, and say, look, I'm searching for more?
Yeah.
You know, and I think everybody needs to ask themselves that. You know, am I just settling for something because I feel like I'm feeling pressure from society and from outside forces? Or do I actually want to hold my ground and stand for the things that I believe in and find somebody that shares those same values and go the distance?
Someone who's just as fucked up as you are, to be honest with you, because that's all I've ever wanted, to be honest, is just someone who's just fucking weird and says the worst things in the perfect moments, I guess, for you specifically. So I don't know. Like, if you were to ask anyone that specific question live and in person, everyone would say, I would wait out for that. It's really until when you're in the moment, you don't really realize it, to be honest with you. And I think that's the hardest part. You blind yourself with some of those things, and that's why, like I said, a lot of that comes from on like sexual encounters, to be honest with you. Within that, you kind of convince yourself.
Sexual encounters of the third kind.
Sorry,
I don't know why I wanted to say that. Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. It was a weird way of phrasing it. I agree. But it's true. I mean, like, if you're having sex with someone, you're more willing to overlook their flaws if you're actually looking for, if you're just fucking around and trying to have a good time.
See, that's lust,
you know?
and that's lust, and like lust is a negative, and the positive counterpart to lust is erotica. So like, there's like different levels of emotions that you can be feeling because of intimacy, that are still negative.
Yeah.
And like, look, I've stuck around because certain things were really good.
Yeah.
And like, that didn't treat me well in the long run. And so I'm agreeing with your point and just adding a little flavor to it.
No, 100%.
Yeah, it's gonna be different for everyone too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to say it's cutting across the board. This is how it's gonna be. Everyone's gonna pick and choose what works for them, right? Cherry pick a little bit. Take all the information, see what works for you.
Yeah. That's what, I guess that's just one thing that I've noticed more so, and this obviously is not for everyone, hardly for anyone. It wouldn't even be for myself, honestly, if I wasn't in the position I'm in right now. But I've been in a long distance relationship for 2 years now. We've only been with each other in person for 3 times within those 2 years because of COVID and all the restrictions within that. But like, I feel like I've gotten more, you know, engaged emotionally and mentally with someone rather than physically, and then that obviously falls into
I feel
place.
like that's a good start.
That falls
though.
into place after the fact, which I think is a beautiful. Yeah,
It's a good foundation.
It is.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
When you actually are able to hold a conversation with someone, and not even just be with someone mentally for like 12 to 14 hours during the day, and consist on a regular basis, you know, even if it is long distance, you know, there's so many things at our disposal now with, you know, like digital environments within video chats and all that kind of stuff. Phone calls has always been there, obviously, but like now with video chats, it's like you can see each other's face, you can see each other's body language, you can read each other's like emotions more so than you could ever before, and it's a lot easier to do that stuff now. And it's worked very well for me. I wouldn't say it's for everyone, and like I said, it probably wouldn't even be for me if it just didn't happen the way that it did for this time. But like, it did, and now that I've like now retroactively looking at it, you know, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, fuck, I wouldn't trade it for anything.
And I feel like the like level of personal connection is the bar's raised when you don't have a level of intimacy,
physical touch at all,
early on. Yeah, because then you're completely depending on mental stimulation.
Yeah.
And that's how you like really can figure out like do you check the same boxes? Like if we talk dirty to each other, like is it like scratching the same itch? And like all that sort of stuff, which obviously is important when you physically meet. But like I would rather, before I hook up with anybody, I would rather have like a whole week of talking to them on the phone and getting to know somebody. Like, am I putting
unless
myself
you're just
in...
fucking around? Like, if you're fucking around, that's totally fine. Like, I have no problem with just experimenting and enjoying life in the moment either. But if you're actually looking for something long term, like, you can cloud your judgment very quickly.
Yeah, respect yourself and hold off on the booty.
Yeah.
or the crotch spot, whatever you want to call it, however.
I'm not preaching abstinence, guys. That's not what that's not what I'm talking about here.
No, but I think that some solid points. I mean, you definitely don't want to base the relationship off just the physical aspect, right? Yeah. Because that can be extremely distracting, and it can mislead your emotions, right? Let's say the sex is the greatest thing ever. A lot of people are going to lead with that, like, oh, we just have this connection, but then at the end of the day, there's all these disconnects, right? And then on the flip side of that too, right? Like we're just clashing heads all the time, mentally we're not there, or whichever way you slice it up, I think you need the whole package, and so it's important not to put too much focus and emphasis on one aspect of it, right? And to really, what are you looking for here, right? And not just falling in and settling.
Let's Roy G. Biv this relationship is what I'm saying, which is like all colors of the spectrum, and whatever. I support all those type of decisions, but trying to encapsulate like let's include everything in a relationship, because life is chaotic, life has mayhem, and if you can't get on the boat and help direct that motherfucker and keep the keel straight or whatever, and keep that ship a sail, then like this is gonna sink. And life is like we're all sailing our own ships individually and with others too at the same time. So it's like be prepared for the mayhem, be prepared for the chaos. And like that's a beauty in life is not knowing. It's like this mystery of not knowing. But one question, Matt, that we do like to ask our guests, and definitely want to include you on that too, is if you could give humanity one piece of advice, so everybody could be better off tomorrow from your piece of advice, what would it be?
Fuck, I'm the wrong fucking person to ask that. I don't know. I guess just do what you want to do as long as it doesn't impede on other people's fucking rights and like hurt them. Like be conscious of other people, but try to live your life to your best ability. Set goals. I think, like, if we've talked about that a couple of times today, I think it's very important to set goals, but not only set goals, like set sub goals within that, and figure out what boxes you need to check to hit that. And then, do you want to keep being hungry after that? Do you want to keep going after that, or are you feeling satisfied at where you're at after that? I mean, it's finding out where you want to be in life, legitimately thinking about what you want to go, where you want to go, and what you want to do within life, and what kind of person you want to be with, or if you want to be on your own. I mean, like, everyone has their own thing, and if it's with friends, if it's with a significant other, if it's with just family, I mean, that's one thing or another. But like, just I think that you do need a support system. I think you need people around you that you love, that love you, that want to be there for you all the time. And I do think that you need to set goals and accomplish and make strides, I guess, to accomplish those goals on a regular basis. Otherwise, you'll fall behind and you won't be happy with where you're at. So like I said, as long as those goals and those ambitions aren't necessarily at the expense of others, I think that's a great thing. So,
solid advice.
Yeah, well said.
Yep, solid advice from a solid lad.
Yeah, I mean, I love that because, we're honored to have you on and to speak to all the great people we've had on the show, and to hear the different answers to that question. It's so cool how it varies. And what I really liked about your answer was the depth to it, is like, because basically, like, the goal is to keep it simple, is like treat yourself well, do something that that makes you self-fulfilled, but at the same time, like, you can't just be super selfish and do things that are going to also impact other people's lives in a negative way. So, like, the advice to humanity there is solid. It's like, like, do yourself the best that you possibly can, but do it in a way that, like, if you're going to impact people, it's only in a positive way. And it's so easy to think of goals and ambitions. And, like, I've been in sales the majority of my life. I could fuck people over constantly, like selling cars and, like, but at the end of the day, like, how do I feel about myself going to sleep, breaking my own moral code. And like, that's, so I love it. I think it's great advice for humanity.
If you put negative energy out there, you're going to get negative energy back, to be honest with you. And that's just facts. It's everyone feels that, to be honest with you. If you positive energy out there, it's not necessarily going to come back to you always, but it's more likely to, for sure. So that's why I always try to do that.
It's depositing that good karma into the bank.
Yep.
For a withdrawal that you don't know when it's coming.
You don't. You have no clue.
No, it's true. I agree with that. The positive vibes tend to bring positive things back your way, and negative things will always come full circle too. Yeah. So it's really what we got to be focused on. What do we want to put our time and energy on right now? We want to focus on the bullshit, or we want to focus on things that make us happy.
Yeah.
That's an individual choice. You can lead a horse to water, you can't make it drink, right? The old cliche statement. Yeah. It's up to each and every individual. Get up, pull them bootstraps tight, get out of bed tomorrow, and go own it at any moment.
Love it.
100% agreed.
Man, that's a strong close. Really happy that you came in. We're gonna keep the conversation going. I mean, we got a couple more beverages, plenty of water to drink as well. Of course. Yeah. And what an honor having you in, man.
It's been great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for taking some time to come down and hang out with us, Matt. I really appreciate it. It was good to meet you, too.
Nice meeting you.
I've heard a lot about you. I know you work with art, so you got to come down and hang out in our wheelhouse a little bit. And, repeat guests are a big thing around here, so we'd love to have you back on in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun, to be honest with you. I'd love to come back. So.
Sounds good. Looking forward to it.
Listeners, be good to yourselves.